Oh. How do I start a conversation? Like, do I pretend to ring you and go, "Hey, Dennis"?
Got a question for you.
I'll take that question. Okay. Hi, everyone. I am Michael Sands, one of the co-directors of Inspired Growth Training, and I'm here with the one, the only Dennis Youssef.
Hi, everyone. How are you going? And thank you for listening in, and thanks for that intro there, Michael.
Well, you know, if you only get spoken about positively once today, then I hope right now is that time. No, all kidding aside, Dennis Youssef is one of the most amazing people in the industry that I've met. And we have Darren Hunter, who is not with us right now, but he is with us in spirit. So as everyone knows, we have been doing the SMR reports, the strategic market reports. And I got to tell you, the amount of times we call people, and we're speaking with thousands of real estate agents around the world, the amount of times that I am putting my head in my face and almost crying at how some people are answering the phone calls, everything they're doing to try and onboard or get new business. And it's no wonder people miss out on so many prospecting opportunities globally.
Yeah, absolutely. It does blow me away listening in on some of these calls, Michael. Some of the basic things that people tend to forget when answering the phone, little things that they could tweak that will help put them at the forefront of winning the listing before they even speak to a BDM. That, you know, some really basic things that we'll cover in going through today that'll help them win more business. Just if they just implemented these handful of things that we're going to cover, it's going to help them.
So, Dennis, we thought today that we could impart some of the things that we've experienced whilst making our phone calls. And this isn't whole after the presentation and you signing up the document. This is probably one of the most important parts of the process. And I guess it comes down to, Dennis, like that first impression, doesn't it?
Oh, it certainly does, you know. And a lot of people forget about that front of house, that one person that answers the phone. You know, Michael, you could say, "Oh my goodness, Dennis, you need to go to this restaurant. Give these guys a call, book in a table." I'm going on the basis that you're referring that business to me. But if I ring and my experience with that person who answers the phone, whether you call them front of house, reception, maitre d', whatever they are in a restaurant, it's not good, I'm already doubting. I'm doubting and I'm second guessing the reason for why I was told to use this company. So it can put you behind the eight ball. It is so important to get that person answering the phone correctly. You know, people, even if they're using a virtual assistant answering service, you know, put a little bit of training and into them and put these things that we're going to share in place. That'll help you win that business. That front of house is so important.
And I guess, Dennis, too, like that's a perfect number one point to raise, answering the phone call. And we see offices from all around the globe have different mechanisms for that. One is they actually have someone staffed in an office, or maybe not during COVID time, but they have someone domiciled to answer that call. Mm-hmm. We also see people have it outsourced to people that aren't in the office, could be somewhere else in the country, but it's an answering system, okay, where they're taking a message and they're and hopefully people are calling back. And then you have that full outsourced virtual assistant that's taking the calls. There's a whole bunch of issues here, Dennis.
Yeah. And Michael, let's not forget about, there's also those systems. Press 1 if you want this, press 2 if you want this, press 3 if you want this, or a voice message that goes to a voice message that talks about all of the maintenance and this, that, and the other, and it's a 2-minute message before, I'm hanging up. So,
And I guess like the best ones we've seen of that is where it's direct. It's like press 1 if you're a landlord, 2 if you're a tenant, 3 if you're a tradesperson, and then it's open there, because then it falls into the right funnel category. when you make the phone call, someone answers it. They say, "Hi, Dennis. Thank you. Michael isn't in the office at the moment. I'll have him call you back." Sometimes I tweak and I'm like, "Are you in the office with them at the moment?" It's like, "Oh no, we're actually not in the office with them, but they'll call you. They'll call you back." And then I would say, "Well, okay, do you know what time they'll call you back?" "Oh, they'll call you back within the day or within a couple of hours." Okay. And I said, "Oh, look, I just have an easy question. Do you think you might be able to help me answer that?" We'll touch on that, but it's answering the phone. Now, Dennis, what's an appropriate time to answer the phone?
Well, appropriate time to answer the phone is all the time. If you can have someone that's answering the phone, and now we're not expecting everyone to be working 24/7, right? But we do, answering the phone. Are you talking about within a particular period or actually answering the phone? 3 rings, right? 3 rings. If you're going to talk about 3 rings, it's 3 rings, right? That's your appropriate time to answer the phone.
Okay, well, Dennis, what if you're a smaller operation and you don't have admin support, you don't have a receptionist, you don't have someone outsourced, and the main line is your mobile phone number, and you're out at an inspection, doing whatever, someone calls new business prospect, it's going to ring out. Like it's going to ring to the voicemail, okay? But is that acceptable? It's going to ring 10 times before it goes through the voicemail.
Yeah, sure it is. If you're a small operator, then what you should do is, turn airplane mode on. So I'll flick straight through to the voice message. Okay, because ring. Sometimes there's a lot of rings before it goes to a voice message and you're frustrated, then you've got to listen. So, turn airplane mode on, flick it straight to the voice message, have a call divert to another person, or straight to your voice message bank.
All right. Well,
or have an outsourcing somebody actually it gets flicked through to an answering service.
Well, that raises an excellent segue into another point, which is the hold music, the message that you actually have on the phone. So if you are going into flight mode, if you are in an appointment and you turn your phone off because you don't want it to ring out, the message. So how are you managing the expectations of the person calling you? And Dennis, we've seen when we've called people, it's silence. "Would you mind holding?" "Sure."
And you don't even know if you're on hold.
Are you still there? "Should I be waiting?" And you hear nothing.
Yeah.
Well, then it's that elevator music that you get. Dun, 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 and
how does it go? Sorry, how does it go?
Well, no, I'm not going to repeat it again because Darren's going to take a clip of that and then play it on repeat, and he's probably going to do that anyway with that. But that's fine. Okay, Darren, you can have that one, Darren Hunter.
That's his moment. You could have the local radio station. You could have points of differences recording. Employ a voiceover expert to talk about your company, your achievements, your points of differences. There's a few different things that you could do. In waiting for it.
Yeah, correct. Did you know, the ones we've seen have most success are where they're identifying pain points. I wouldn't be on that voicemail actually saying, "Did you know that we won the sales award for the last 3 years straight and we've topped sales of over $25 million in the last 3 months?" It would be more around the pain points, identifying if it's a prospect, have you had issues with your tenants not paying rent? Here we do this, and this to help you, or whatever that pain point journey is. But you can be creative with that message, but don't be boring, don't be silent, and don't be elevator.
A great point on that, Michael, is you see a lot of posts of, we've leased 17 properties this month. We've alleviated the pain of 17 owners and successfully found great tenants for them in record time. Just that wording alone adds so much extra point value to we lease 17 properties. Because you're talking about those pain points that you've got in there, which is some really good points. Now, something to add to that, Michael, right? What is the appropriate time for someone to be on hold for? Because my goodness, we could talk about companies we've called and we're on hold and we're in queues and we're waiting. Yep. And all of those memories start to flow back when you bring it up, right? So how long is too long to be on hold?
As little as possible. However, it is acceptable to put someone on hold for a period of time if you manage that expectation. Ring, 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 ring. Hi, it's Michael. Welcome to IGT Realty. How can I help you today, Dennis? And then Dennis would say, I'm looking for this. No problem. Look, would you mind if I pop you on hold for approximately 30 to 40 seconds or 15 to 20 seconds and I'll come back to you? Yes, you put them on hold. You've managed the expectation. So if it is going to be longer than normal, I'm just with someone in the office at the moment. Would you mind if I pop you on hold for 30 seconds and I'll come back to you? Then it's okay. But if it's, I'll pop you on hold and I'll just see if they're available. A minute later, a minute and a half later, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, and they haven't come back to you, I would hang up.
Yeah. And during those times, Michael, we know that they're potentially in the office, right? Because, you know, the person, yeah, we know that they're potentially in the office, A, because they may have just called us and said they're in the office, and the front of house staff is saying, oh, let me see if they're in, right? So, you know, jump back on and, you know, get that wording right, but jump back on and saying, look, I haven't got through to them yet. They are on a call, whatever the case. Feed that information back to them because you have given them that expectation.
Well,
you know?
The other thing there, Dennis, like a good well-run office, if a PM or a BDM or whoever is in there and you've got someone at the front answering calls, you know, directing traffic, they should know at all times who is in the office. Yep. And they should be able to see from a phone board if someone's on a call, not if they're on the mobile, but there's no reason to say, yes, Dennis is in the office. Please hold for about 30 seconds while I try and connect through to them. If you can't reach them, look, Dennis is on his mobile phone at the moment. I have made him aware that you've rang. Now, I guess this also brings in another good point, which is the person who is actually answering the phone, knowing what to say. Like, are they skilled enough to take the simple inquiry? Do they know how to take the message? Like, if they can't take the inquiry because they don't know about renting out a property or that information, do they know the basics required to take the inquiry? The simple answer here, Dennis, is no. So many people don't know that. They say, Dennis isn't in the office. He'll call you back. Or can you call back in an hour?
Or can you refer to our website?
The people that are calling your office with a rental property with the idea for you to potentially manage it, they want to get something from you now. And if you're not the right person to take that inquiry, that's okay. But know the simple things to say so that you can give them something.
Yeah,
we'll touch
absolutely.
on like listing stuff, you know, in a moment. But know what to say. I mean, Dennis, we've rang thousands of people now.
Oh, look, it is crazy. You know, and the basic thing of if somebody rings and says, I'm thinking of selling or renting my home out, that person answering the phone needs to know the right person that it gets fed to. Do I feed it to both people? Who do I give it to first? And understanding the differences of what renting and selling means as well. You know, you know, a common question that we hear a lot of agencies receive calls of owners ringing and not understanding their statement, you know. So a property manager doesn't need to be disturbed on that. So, you know, you could train the front of the house staff just to quickly explain it to them, or they could flick them a video that the office may have done explaining the tutorial on it, you know, and that alleviates a phone call across to property management. The person who answers the phone feels like they're being responded to, which is great because they've been updated on some of the stuff. And
the person who's calling you, they don't need to know that you're not the most experienced person in the office, right? They don't know that you're not the Sultan of Brunei. They don't know if you're not like a royal leader, or they don't know if you are the business owner or not. But if you're not you know, the BDM or the PM, there's no reason why you can't impart like a little bit of wisdom and knowledge to keep that person interested.
Valid point. Very valid.
Okay, so we've gone over answering the call, you know, within a certain time frame. We've gone over the messages, holding messages. We've gone over the person picking up the phone call, knowing some basic things of what to say to the prospect. Now, if they aren't the right person, and let's say legitimately the person isn't in the office, right? Okay. They're not just having their lunch break, which is also okay. But the next point would be returning the phone call. Whoa!
Can't do that.
Whoa. But I'm scared about returning that phone call. I don't know what to say. Who are they? What type of property have they got? Is it in the area? Are they mystery shopping me? Oh, I don't know. Doesn't matter.
It's a tricky one. No, it doesn't matter. But how do you alleviate if it is someone that's secret shopping, right? So how do you alleviate? You just don't know if it is or not. You know, something they could do, Michael, is actually, you know, get the details of the person that rang them. Front of house should be, just in case we get disconnected, name, phone number, email, property it's relating to, or the issue, whatever the case is, you know, so they know how to follow up or who to follow up, right? You know, as we know, technology, as great as it is, we have dropouts.
Yep.
So it is, you know, it's really important just to get those details from people.
Definitely get their details. But we've had to wait like days to get returned phone calls from some agencies because they're too busy to make a 5-minute phone call back. Yep. We found the issues where they've had people that are in other parts of the country not being in the office and are purely just taking a message. It's okay having someone in another country taking your phone calls if they're part of the company, if they know the values of the company, if they know the people in the company, and they are actually doing legitimate tasks and working for that business, right? That's fine. And we see that happening around the globe, okay?
Yeah.
But we also see, more often than not, the person taking that message that's somewhere else has got nothing else to do with the business other than taking a message.
And Michael, sometimes, you know, our team, they're ringing an office, and then they've got a main office. It could be, let's say it's a franchise group. So there's one phone number that it goes to, and then they're patching you through to that state, or they're patching you through to that region, you know, and it's those calls that aren't getting returned. That's where it can get painful, you know, because the person who's making the call, I've already called this number and I'm waiting for someone to call me back. I spoke to, you know, and they're not being explained that they're a call center as well. So it creates that confusion for our teams. And we're experienced in real estate and we're having these issues.
I know.
So, you know, but those follow-ups, they are so important. And you know, again, it's like that question you asked me at the beginning, how long do you wait for a phone, for it to be ringing? What's the expectation of a phone call to be followed up?
Well, again, the person who's also taking that message should also say, "Yep, Dennis will give you a call back within 1 or 2 business hours, or by the end of the day." So the person who's made that call to the office of prospect actually has an expectation there. Otherwise, they got no idea. Now, we'll touch on this later on, but the person who's fielding that call at the start, they should also have your pre-listing information to send out. But look, let's touch on that later on, Dennis. Let's just try and keep some flow here. I guess you return the call, or you're in the office and you've been able to take the call. Sell me your services, Dennis. What's your points of difference? Tell me more about, you know, and I guess you made an excellent point offline earlier that so many times you ring an office and they're always speaking about themselves, and straight away they're trying to do a hard sell on you to kind of tell you how great they are, how many awards their sales director has won over the last 3 years, how good their sales team is. Everything's great about them. But a lot of people aren't asking listening questions either, Dennis.
No, they've got to ask those listening questions so you know how and what their pain points are. You know what the pain point is of that person that's calling you. They're giving you the information of how you're going to win the business. It could be a potential tenant, right? And they're struggling getting an agent to show them a property. So because they're desperate, they want to, get into a property. So, if you can alleviate that pain point from them, they're going to feel so much more relaxed, and they're going to feel so much more heard and taken care of, that they're going to become that raving fan. So you need to ask those listening questions, like, why did you call our office? Is such a good question to ask. Yeah. Michael, you need to know where your leads are coming from. You need to know who's referring your business. Even if they just say, I heard that you guys are really strict on. Okay, so then you know that they're a potential landlord that is looking for a strict property manager. Or, there could be, oh, I see your signs everywhere. So they see our for lease signs or to let signs or whatever the case,
I think too, when you ask those listening questions and you have the prospect, filling you in with exactly what they're looking for and about the property and their questions, that's how you can differentiate your points of difference. Because we also see that people have got like the same set points of difference for every single phone call. But those same set points of difference may not actually be targeting the pain point for the person that's asking about the business. So you don't need to have like 3 points of difference that you say verbatim all the time. Have a number of points of difference that will really reach that pain point of the pain that the person's calling you for in the first place.
Yeah, spot on, which it could be around, they're worried their property is going to sit vacant for too long.
Can we put a request out there, Dennis? Do you think it's appropriate of us to put a request out there to people about?
I think it's okay.
Please don't let us know that you have 50 years of combined experience in the office. Please.
Or please don't tell us that you're a boutique agency. They're the two common ones, right? Or that you've got zero tolerance on rent arrears.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. and also that you do really great marketing of properties and you have really clear photos. Don't tell us all this.
Yeah. Or that you're really strict on your tenancy applications.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's a good one. You assess the applications, the very best in the marketplace.
Yeah. So, if you're going to say these things, back it up. Back it up with statistics and data.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Prove it. Although, and the family-run business. Great. Just as an example, I came across a family-run business. The head of the property management department had 3 months experience and had come over from a government management role who had no idea about residential rentals or anything at all. But it was a family-run business, Dennis. Doesn't that give you comfort? Family-run business.
It does, because they're a family-run business shows me that they've got a lot of experience in real estate, and they're no doubt a boutique agency as well.
I guess, and that moves us on to the next point there, from the family-run business, but it's knowing who's doing what in the office. Okay, so we speak to people, and one of the points of difference is we have a pod-style system, or we have a department type system, or however they're going to manage their properties. They fail so many times when they might say we have 10 people in our team. We have someone that does arrears, someone that does maintenance, someone that does lease renewal, someone that does applications, someone that does answers to the call, someone that does this, someone that does that. Great. So I'm going to be speaking to 10 people about my property, is it? Or I'll handle everything. Or like when you call up and you speak to a leasing person, or the receptionist puts you through to the leasing, puts you through to the BDM, and then you go to the property management team. Who's doing what? Don't make it overwhelming for the prospect. Dennis, like if I knew I had to deal with 10 different people about my property, so I would potentially be communicated with by 10 different people, that's overwhelming.
It is. And it's jargon as well, Michael. All of the pod, this, that, the other, they don't understand. It's jargon. So it's really important just to be, dumb down the conversation. Just because they're picking up, they don't know. That's why they're ringing you. They don't know what a BDM is. They don't know what a pod system is. They don't know what a leasing agent is. They don't know what a marketing agent is. Whatever the case, you've got to pretend they don't know.
And we were a pod style. Like we had the customer service facing people, and then we had the people behind the scenes that did all the work. But did we tell the owners that we had 20 people doing things or 10 people doing things? No, we said this is our setup. This is the person that you'll be dealing with day in, day out. Behind the scenes, we have our other support team that are helping with those tasks. But you will be dealing with Dennis.
Yes.
So knowing who does what. Don't whoever answers the phone, if it's not your strong point, if it's not what you're actually doing within the business, don't profess that you are that person, but know enough to hold a conversation with that. And I guess, Dennis, too, we're touching on earlier, which brings us on to the next point around the marketing and pre-listing and proposal. Whoever does answer that phone call should have access to be able to send the prospect your pre-listing information, right?
Yeah.
Make it personal. Don't automate it so that it's just dime a dozen. If Dennis rings the office, dear Dennis, thank you so much for your phone call today and for giving us the address of the property. Please see attached our pre-listing email before, Darren is going to give you a call to discuss your property. Please see ways that we market your property differently. Please see our proof statement of exactly how we manage our rent arrears and the percentage at the moment. Show them how great the photo quality is that you are. Show them where the property sits online. But the prospect is getting something right away. And the person who answers the phone can help them. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And do you know what? CC the BDM or the person that they're calling in as part of this email, and in making it personal as well. And I love the facts that you're sending them to. Don't just feed them to your website. Do not just feed them to the website. Your front of house is actually emailing them some information. So it's keeping that communication and that rapport building within the house. So, which is really good. It's so important to do. There's nothing worse than listening to a conversation that one of our teams had, and they've said, look, the BDM's not into the moment, but if you go to our website, you can read up about them, or you can have a look at our fees, or whatever the case. Feed them, click here. So, Michael, a lot of our stuff, when we get a new business inquiry, all of the stuff's on our website. But my pre-list email is click here to see it. Click here. I'm feeding them to the right areas. Giving them the stuff.
Dennis, so if you can't find the information that you are looking for, please make sure you email Darren at igtmail.com. Darren, Darren at igtmail.com, and he'll be able to direct you where to go. He is a valuable library resource.
Absolutely. And Darren can also give you an example of where our pre-listing email is that your office can use that will help you convert more business that we're talking about. It's the exact pre-listing email. I can't say exact. It's 90% there of the pre-listing email that I personally use that helped me list over 900 properties.
Yeah, so, and that's gold. That's absolute gold. And I guess too, one of the things, and Darren also mentioned to us offline, what he appreciates too is getting like a video text message from someone. So let's say that the BDM isn't in the office, or the right person to speak to isn't in the office, but the front of house or whoever answers the call takes the inquiry, says, yep, great, I'm going to get Dennis to give you a call. Please, what's your email address? I'll send you some information that we have already outlining our process. Great, you've sent that off. That person in the office or wherever they are has now sent Dennis a message to say, hey, Dennis, Darren actually rang. They've got a property on 1 Smith Street. They're looking to rent it out. Here's their phone number. Here's their email. I've already sent them a pre-listing. Dennis then gets on his phone, his Apple, and then he does a video message to Darren. Hey, Darren, I just want to say thank you so much for your inquiry about your property 1 Smith Street. I know that Beck has already sent you through our pre-listing information, but I'd love to make a time with you to have a chat and to see how I can help rent out your property and answer any questions that you may have. Look forward to speaking with you. I'll give you a call shortly.
So easy to do. So easy. And let's just say another point is we are personalizing our business transaction with these people.
Got to be personalized. It's got to be personalized.
We are personalizing it, so, the front of house person is personalized. The music, the on hold, it's personalized. The asking the questions is personalized. The email, it's personalized. The video text, it's all personalized. Everything about it is bringing your personality into the entire transaction. So it's not just it's not black and white. I
was going to say too, and just touching on that, the amount of times that we've called offices and they try and direct us to their website. Yes, you've got it all on your website, but I'm not calling you to be directed to your website. I'm calling you to speak to a human being, to have a human engagement about one of the largest investments I've probably potentially made in my entire life. And I'm trying to find someone that I can know and trust to help me manage that and find good tenants, collect rent, maintain the property, and hopefully build a relationship with over a long period of time. If you just said yes, if all our things are on our website, how is that going to happen?
Yeah, I know. Guess what, Michael? I may have already been on your website. I may have already read your information. I may have already found the phone number on your website, and now I want to actually speak to somebody. So if I'm being reverted back to the website after I've done that, guess what I'm going to do, Michael?
You go to someone else's website.
I'm going to call the next person, right? You know, so it does, you know, it does blow me away. We are a fishbowl society. It doesn't matter who tells you to refer. You know, if you're being told to call someone, mum and dad investors or whatever, they're on Facebook, they're on Google, they're doing their own homework, they're going to your website before they call you. So don't feed them back to somewhere they may have already read.
No. But, you know, if they have called your office and you've sent them out the information and the BDM's got the message and they've got it and they've sent a video message, now would be the most optimal time to make that appointment. So either the person who has answered the call can see the diary of the BDM or the PM or whoever's doing it and can book in an appointment. So if the person wants to come into the office or if they want someone to visit the property, that person can then book the inspection. Or
you could be using Calendly, you could have a shared calendar. You know, there's various aspects that can be done. You could even send them an introduction email and say, look, Dennis is at an appointment at the moment. Here's a diary link. You can select the time that suits your needs, you know, as well. So at least it's giving you direct access to the person.
Exactly. And I guess too, like just recapping, Dennis, if your office is able to like answer the phone call within a reasonable time frame, you have appropriate hold message or the wait music is appropriate too, and you're not keeping people on hold for a long period of time. The person who answers the call can help in some capacity, ask the right questions, get the right details. If the person's not available, they can return the phone call within a good period of time. Knowing your points of difference, knowing what to say, knowing how to differentiate yourself according to the pain points that the person is calling you for, knowing who does what in the business, what can you do, what does the admin do, how is your support structure set up, having your pre-listing, your proposal ready to be sent out, personalized to the person that's made the inquiry with the office, personalizing it even further by having that video text message, booking in that inspection. And I guess this is where the money, do we tell them where the money is? Do we tell them as a business where the money actually is? Or do we just...
Do we have to give it all away?
Darren's not going to jump in. I don't know. Darren probably doesn't want us to give it all away. I'll tell you what, let's tell them where the money is. Forget what Darren's going to tell us afterwards.
I know. We're going to get in trouble right now, but we're willing to do this for you.
Darren, we're going to tell everyone where the money is. We hope you're okay with that. Now, the money is in the follow-up.
I was going to say, show me the money. Show me the money.
Hold on, follow up. So you mean to tell me, Michael, once you've booked an appointment and send off everything and you potentially had an appointment even, you've actually got to follow them up?
Follow them up. That's where the money is. Money is made in the follow-up. Just because you haven't heard from them 24 hours later or 36 hours later or 48 hours later does not mean that you don't have the right to call them back 24 hours later and contact them. That said, I would much prefer to see people, once you've left the appraisal or left the meeting or finished the meeting, an hour later, 2 hours later, send them a video message.
Yeah.
Hi, Dennis. It's Michael. Thank you so much for having me through your property before. One thing that I didn't mention is actually maybe if you did this to your property, or I loved what you've done here. I think the right tenant would be this type of tenant, whatever it is. But you're leaving some further wisdom for them to think about, and you follow it up. And then you also leave in there, I'll give you a call tomorrow to see what questions you may have had that you've thought about overnight, and then we can take the next process forward from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And
follow up.
Yeah, follow up can be put into a couple of points here as well, Michael. Like sometimes you may get a message that someone's called you and you've tried calling them and then you may have sent them an email. Follow that up. Follow that up. Chase them. They've called you because they've got a need that needs to be met. So keep calling them until that need is met, until you've actually got in contact with them, you know. And I'm going to be daring here, and I'm going to add another tip. Are you okay if I add another tip into the mix here?
Well, Darren's not here right now. He's watching.
Darren's not here, so we're gonna add another one. When you've actually booked an appointment and you've got on the phone, like send them a calendar invitation for whether you're booking a time to have a discussion with them if they're interstate or not in your area, or there's a pandemic on and you can't meet face to face. You know, send a calendar invitation with the phone number, with the address, with the link to your bio, whatever the case. Actually send them an invitation, because it's just that another little touch point, right? That you're adding to your repertoire. You know, this is a really good client experience, Michael. You know, it's a really good client experience that can be, I mean, we could talk about each point for, 30 minutes to an hour, right? The pre-listing email we could talk about for 3 hours. You know, the follow-up process we could talk about for hours as well. I mean, we have procedures that we train people on for this, and we are only just covering certain points on how to better the standard of that client experience before the appointment.
Correct. Yep. We've got it all there. If you go into our IGD portal, we have so much content there for you. But I guess today, Dennis, let's wrap it up. Like, we've gone over everything. The money's in the follow-up. And once you've made that follow-up, get the business, sign them up, and keep building the portfolio. Go out there and make more connects. These are the things that you should be doing to build that relationship, that trust of the prospect contacting you to give you their business.
Absolutely. And what a way of creating some raving fans through this experience, that they're then going to want to continue to rave about you because they've had a great experience, and they're going to spread the word to other people as well. It's all about that growth. It's all about that positive mindset for business as well. We're inspired to give more tips on this, just as Darren is, and we love giving more tips. But if anyone has more questions, simply email darren@igtmail.com.
Perfect. Well, thanks for hanging around with me today, Dennis. Darren, thank you for putting this together. If anyone has any questions, please reach out to us, log into our portal, call a coach. We are here to help. We are Inspired Growth Training, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Take care. Thank you.